to the OhioRAAM Show.
Well, hello everyone. This is Jim Lawyer here with tonight's live OhioRAAM Show, the show about all things ultracycling. Hey Lee, how are you tonight?
Doing pretty good, Jim. How's it up your way?
Doing great. Nothing to complain about tonight.
Well, that's different.
There you go. And everything's working tonight, so I'm happy.
And this show comes to you through all the good people who operate time stations here in Ohio, 41 in Oxford, 42 in Blanchester, and 43 in Chillicothe. And I was trying to find a photo. We want to talk about them one at a time of Oxford. And I haven't a recent one because they moved across the street. But this is the view from Time Station 41, the McDonald's restaurant there. And it's so if you want to find the time station in Oxford, find McDonald's and you've got it. A little later on, Jim will give some special times when things are really popping in these time stations.
Definitely.
Want to come by. And that's our friend Lisa Brockhurst there, who's kind of the spark plug of the Golden Tries, which without them, there wouldn't be a time station there. They keep things going pretty well, Jim.
Yes, they do. Doing a great job, as always.
Hey, it's, you know what? It's St. Patrick's Day this week.
Definitely. Wearing to the green.
That's why I put a little green background there. It kind of clashes with the blue and red.
Nah, I think it looks good.
Of our show. But what would St. Patrick's Day on the OhioRAAM show be without a leprechaun from Ireland?
Hi, Lee. This is Joe Barr in Ireland. I just want to wish yourself, Jim, and all the listeners at the OhioRAAM show a very, very happy St. Patrick's Day.
That was awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. We love you.
Yes, definitely.
So, what's the news, Jim?
Basically, we got the RAM updates, and it stayed the same as last week. And I did not get a chance to do our country thing like I had promised, so that'll be next week, so I apologize. As for other news, we are going to do the first RGT group ride, the virtual ride, on Saturday, March 19th at 11:15 a.m. Eastern Time. And you can join us for free on RGT. To find out how, go to www.ohioram.bike, and there'll be more information posted there.
Very good.
And again, this year, we're going to do the Ride for Your, our memorial ride for Yuri Robic, with a partnership with Spiegel Bikes and Team Hoppo. You can find more information at rideforyour.org.
Okay.
And we're going to have some very special events coming up, and we're going to cover them live here on OhioRAAM. So keep your eye out on social media for those.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff cooking, Jim.
Definitely. It's going to be a great, great lead up to RAM this year.
Yep.
And that's about it today, Lee.
Okay. Well, you know, it's good to have friends when you're in a tight spot. And hi, Gregory.
The voice.
The voice of the OhioRAAM. I shouldn't try to imitate him.
I don't think anybody could.
No, nobody could. Thanks, Gregory. You're a special person. What was I going to say? Oh,
friends.
You know, we changed our time this week, and of course, some people did and some people didn't, and that's messed things up. And as a result, our guest next week couldn't make it. And so we had a pinch hitter. And what a pinch hitter we've got. The best friend, I don't know if the best friend, I shouldn't categorize people, but a great friend of the OhioRAAM show, Team Skydog.
Definitely.
Lauren Rosenkelde is going to be with us, riding in RAM for the Childhood Cancer Foundation there in Denmark. And I got hold of him last night.
Yes.
This morning when I got up, he says, sure, I'll step in for you. I kind of had him cued to do that, and he's ready to do it. So that's
definitely will be another awesome show, another Danish invasion.
Yeah, boy, one Dane after another, isn't it?
Definitely.
Now, I said I wanted some personal privilege. I am very, very proud father and grandfather and great grandfather. And well, I have to say, my son's over here. Where's he at? California visiting, and my dog's there too. Scott's here, and he's helping me. My wife had surgery this past week, and he's been a great help. But you know, my children are cyclists and runners. Scott, how many marathons have you done?
I've lost track.
He lost track.
Probably about 100 or so.
100 or so marathons.
Amazing.
Trail runs. He's run London. He's run Berlin. And he's been snookered out of Tokyo twice, haven't you?
Yeah.
And what, 2023?
2023. Well, they had the 2021 marathon just last weekend in 2022. I think they printed off the medals, so they.
That's this crazy world. Well, I just wanted to say yesterday, our grandson Matt. Now that's not Scott's son. That's my older boy Mark's son. Matt Kreider did the Mid-South Gravel.
Outstanding.
And
you said the G word, Lee.
the G word, yeah. And so, and now my great grandchildren are riding bikes and skiing, and it just
See what you started?
see what I started. Yeah,
There you
we
go.
were talking about that, Scott and I, a day or so ago. So, what? Enough of this chit chat. See, we covered all the business.
Yeah,
here.
we do want to shout out to Amber Shivington as well as
Oh,
Doug.
yeah, Amber. Hi, Amber.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, tell Amber. You tell Doug that we want him for a pinch hitter too.
Definitely.
You never know when you're going to need somebody. Let's get on with Team Sunshine, and I'm going to bring Mark on here because I met him earlier. Mark, how are you doing?
Hey, Lee. Hey, Jim. How are you?
Hey, Mark. Very good. How about yourself?
Good. Greetings from the north side of Ohio.
Definitely. A
I wanna
northerner.
interrupt, Jim, but I tell you what, we did forget about making comments and questions.
Definitely. Let me get that banner
Put your
going.
name in the hopper for
Mousepad tonight.
Mousepad. I mean, everybody wants these things,
Hot commodity.
but the only way you can get one is by winning this contest that's coming up here. So be sure, if you just tell us where you're from. We'd love to hear where you're from, and we got a nice, healthy group out there, Jim.
Definitely. It's the highest I've seen in a while.
Yeah, so let's
Outstanding. Let's keep it
let's
going,
hear from
guys.
you, and we'll hear it. So sorry to interrupt you, Mark.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
You see how well organized we are.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm looking on my other screen here, and I see some of our Clevelanders have joined on. So they need to get commenting here.
Yeah,
There you go.
let's
Definitely.
hear from Cleveland, Ohio. Are you awake out there?
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay,
Still snowy up here.
Introduce your team to us, Mark.
Sure. So we have a 4-person team competing in RAM this year. We are all rookies at RAM, although we've been doing endurance athletics in various forms for, easily 15, 20 years each. 2 of our riders are from Brooklyn, New York. That's Scott Bardos and Tim Dowles. And when we start talking about our charitable work, Scott and Tim know the individual who we are doing all this work for. Also online here is Miles Bardos. He's from the Philadelphia area. And also our crew chief, Steve Kendra, also from the Philadelphia area. Like I said, all 4 of us are rookies. However, Steve is our grizzly veteran. He's the guy that's going to make sure we get to the finish line in one piece and safe and make sure we're on track, make sure our 8 to 9 person crew is ready to roll as well. So my name, Mark Durno, Cleveland, Ohio, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, we've got comments coming in so fast, Jim can't keep up over there.
No, I can't.
Yeah, I tell you, that's
I'm working
great.
on it.
Give Jim a workout. So, how did you guys get together?
Scott, you want to take that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, Jim, Lee, thanks for having us. Happy to be on the show.
Wait.
Really, I think like the RAM actual race that we expect, this has been kind of a long journey getting our team together. the origin really started with myself doing a Minnesota Ram Challenge back in 2017, and on that race, I had my brother Miles, my friend Tim, and a couple other good friends crew for that, and we had such a fun experience on that, even though I had no design set on RAM. That the minute I finished that race, the wheels started going in motion, as I understand they often do in ultra cycling. And I had such a good time. I said, you know what, the next thing to do is get more people involved and race as a team. And very quickly, my brother and Tim were on board. We were scheduling for a 2020 RAM attempt. That was, of course, in the before times, before everything got turned upside down. And we knew the race was going to be canceled that year, and not really certain of what was going to happen in 2021. We decided to kind of push to 2022 just to increase the chances of the race going off successfully. And of course, as we keep telling ourselves, it's giving us more time to prepare and train. So hopefully we have no excuse not to hit all of our goals and to race very fast. As part of that, how we came together, obviously these 2 or 3 years of kind of preparing and basically facing a lot of challenges that we not see. Our team is kind of taking on a different look. So now is going to be a good time for me to shout out our good friend Ben Kessel from Priority Fitness here in Brooklyn. He was initially going to be the 4th rider, but as I've kind of alluded to, life kind of got in the way and changed some things, and he's unable to race with us. But he'll still be with us and was a big part of us getting prepared already. In his spot, obviously Mark is where he took over, and Mark has done way more Ironmans than Ben. So we think we'll actually probably be pretty good there. No, he can't bench as much as Ben. And then, of course, we had our crew chief, Christine Fritchen, also from Brooklyn Triathlon Club, now back at home in Kansas, where she grew up. She really helped us start the journey as well. But then, again, life got in the way, and she was unable to kind of participate any further, and that's where we kind of hit the jackpot in having Steve, the grizzled veteran, join us, and from there it's just been building the crew and counting on all of our crazy friends that are willing to give up their time and energies to kind of do one of these crazy adventures. So that's a short enough explanation of how we got to being on the show tonight.
Okay, great. Well, let's, Jim, why don't you talk to the crew chief here?
All right. As far as your crew, what kind of veterans do you have? Do you have rookies, or how's it all coming together for this team?
Yeah, I don't think we have any veterans on the full RAM. I think we had somebody that worked on one of the trials, but they do seem to be. They're all athletes. They're motivated. We've got a former mayor of Red Wing, Minnesota. I think that's Tim's dad with us. We've got a guy from Colorado bringing a small RV that is going to be very helpful. We've been chatting about the duties of crew. We're not really into the weeds yet as far as the rules and everything, but it looks. I'm excited. I think we've got the right team to pull this off.
Outstanding. And you mentioned RV. Are you going to have multiple cars plus 1 or 2 RVs, or how's that situation going to work?
Our plan right now is 2 vans and an RV, 2 minivans and an RV. Very much enjoyed the seminar just a couple weeks ago with that was put on by RAM, and it seemed there that there was a minivan was a preferable support vehicle. I've always done it the 4 times that I rode. We had Suburbans as our support vehicles, and then a larger RV, but. And then as crew chief last time, we didn't have an RV at all. So that worked also very well. So I feel like we're kind of hitting the middle of the road here, and we should be successful.
Outstanding. Are you going to have 2 separate teams of riders, like 2-2, or are you going to just intermix off and on? How is that going to work for you guys?
Well, the plan right now is to have 2 separate teams, that'll be on 8-hour shifts. And we'll do the same with crew. We'll sort of swing them in and out. Hopefully with the riders, and throw them into the RV to hopscotch forward and get ready for the next shift. That's sort of in the beginning stages, but that's the plan right now.
Gotcha. And one final question. Okay, go ahead.
That'll give everybody a chance to get nighttime, daytime, and all hours of the day with 8-hour shifts, and give everybody a fair shot at having good scenery and also getting some nighttime riding, which my preference is nighttime riding. I like that better.
I totally agree with you. Yes. The final question for you, I guess, is are you going to do any test rides with the crew and the riders to get everybody familiar with each other? Is that in the works or in the plans, or have you done that yet?
We haven't done it yet, but our plan is, I think, the weekend of May. You guys will correct me on this, but May 14th, around that time frame, we're gonna all meet out near Parkersburg and try to do the last 24 hours. We may stop a little bit short of Annapolis to stay out of the traffic, but we're gonna give them a feel. We'll practice our exchanges, nighttime, daytime, and give them a feel of what the end of RAAM's going to be like. And I think it's if they can handle West Virginia and Maryland in the Appalachians, they'll be good for the West, I believe.
Outstanding. Back to you, Lee.
Well, I was going to say, we've had a number of people join us here since we started talking to Steve, and be sure and give us your comments. Tell us where you're at. Steve, as is often happens when a couple of people who've been around RAAM a few years start talking to one another, we start sharing old war stories, and we're not going to get into those. But you've been around RAAM for a while. Tell us a little bit about your background.
I started, my first RAAM was 2007. I rode 7, 9, 11, and 16. And then I was a crew chief on 2018. I was the director of the endurance team for the Children's Tumor Foundation, and that's how we started. Right before, in around 2006, we only ran marathons, and I would coach marathons all around the country. But I was finishing the Phoenix Rock and Roll with a lady whose husband sort of walking with us for the last mile, and I knew he was a wealthy real estate dealer in Phoenix, and I said, boy, it'd be really nice if you could run and raise money for us at some point. And he said, I'll never run a marathon again. I hate them. But if you ever want to ride a bike race, I'm in, and I'll raise $500,000 for you. And
Wow.
And I said, Pat, where do you want to ride? And he said, I want to do the race across America. So I went out the next month and bought a bicycle and started training. And he had a team in 2007, and we had another team. And then we came back, I think, with 3 teams in 2009 and again in 11.
Okay.
But that was a great experience, and that's sort of what got me into long distance cycling was his offer to raise that money. He actually raised $700,000, so it was a good event for us.
Great.
Yeah, that's great. Well, let's talk to Miles a little bit, Jim.
Miles, how did you get involved with this team, and how did you become an ultra cyclist?
Well, my brother, I crewed for him when he did the Minnesota RAAM, and kind of got the bug. Long time competition with them, doing everything from when they're little kids. So I've always been a cyclist for the past 20 years or so, and just said, yeah, why not? Let's go.
Outstanding. Anything you're looking forward to on this race, or anything you're dreading?
Not really dreading anything, unless my brother finishes with a higher miles per hour. That probably won't happen. So,
there's a challenge thrown out there.
Yeah, there is more than a healthy lifelong competition going on. I'm sure he'll try to one up me when he speaks next. But yeah, we're just looking forward to the challenge. Doing it for a great cause, great team we have supporting us, and of course, as you probably already can tell, we've got a top-notch crew chief to help.
Oh, definitely. You guys look like you're on track for a great race this year.
Yeah.
Have you done any other races, long distance, that you want to talk about? Or
not half Ironmans. The longest I've done, mostly Olympic distance Ironmans.
Okay.
But also have a long history of what we call jackassery, stupid things that are great ideas, like backpacking in the wintertime up in the north or in Colorado and Appalachian Trail through hike. So if there's a challenge, it's kind of answers yes.
Outstanding. Lee, do you have any questions for Miles?
No, but I want to talk to Tim a little bit. Tell us a little about your background and your RAAM history. And
Well, I got into this like Scott said, crewing for him, and he's a huge bully, and just like I really didn't have a choice, so I here I am. No, but I couldn't be more psyched to be part of the team. I come to cycling via triathlon. Basically, I kind of started that in 2012 and met Scott through triathlon, and I've done like all the distances: sprint, Olympic, half, full irons. Done a couple irons or few. As far as like kind of dumb long cycling events, it's kind of been a creeping thing. A good friend of ours here in Brooklyn organized a thing a number of years ago. How long have we been doing it, Scott? Like 5, 6? We call
Yeah, I
it the
think 5 or 6. Yeah.
It's called the Prospect Park 200. There's a park here in Brooklyn called Prospect Park, which is kind of like a small central park, essentially. We do 200 miles in that over the course of about 11 or 12 hours. It's about 60 laps. Each lap's about 3 miles. So it's a mental challenge as well as a physical challenge. But so that was kind of like my entry to, I suppose, ultra cycling. And then last year we did a kind of 24-hour. We rode from Brooklyn up to Burlington. It's about 300 odd miles that we just did in a shot. And this is all just kind of we were supported, but like, you know, it's just friends in a car basically. Yeah, just it's kind of just like we weren't able to do it in 2020, so we're like just kind of putting together our own stuff. And it's not a race. Like we stopped a bunch, but you know, it was still fun, and you still end up with some really rough saddle sores.
Well, I believe Scott's going to tell you about our charity.
Well, first, I'd love to talk about the charity, but I just wanted to note that not one of these guys has thanked me for helping them get over these middle distance Ironmans and stepping up to some actual long distance events. I'm hoping that they'll thank me at the end. You know, the word hero gets thrown around a lot, but not a lot of gratitude, though. But transitioning to the charity, so just a little background on, you know, when we're putting our team together and identifying, you know, what we want to fundraise for. Obviously, there's countless really, really good causes to fundraise for. But for us in our local triathlon community, it was a kind of easy decision. We're racing to support pediatric cancer research, and the inspiration for that and for our fundraising, but also our team name, was a little girl named Sweet Sally Sunshine. That was a daughter of the Cable family, local family here in Brooklyn. She got diagnosed when she was 10 months old. Her and the family fought for several years in a way that is obviously impossible for any of us to truly consider or understand. Unfortunately, she passed away when she was about 6 years old. And for us, we were kind of watching that family's fight and the little girl's fight through the entire ordeal. So for us, when it was time to think of a fundraiser, it was a no-brainer for us. And the parents of Sally basically had become, during the course of her struggle, pretty big advocates in the pediatric cancer community locally to kind of drive more awareness and drive more fundraising. And when we came to them with the idea that we wanted to fundraise for pediatric cancer, obviously there's a bunch of charities out there, and which one do we go to? And they recommended, hands down, Arms Wide Open Childhood Cancer Association. Basically, the goal of this organization is to fund less toxic therapies for kids. As we know, most of the ways that you fight cancer is through basically through poison, and it creates a lot of issues, especially for young children who are still developing. So the organization basically tries to find less toxic therapies for kids, as well as do a whole bunch of other things that help just fund families. Obviously, it's in a very expensive fight within our healthcare system. So just to try to provide extra funds and opportunities for families, whether it's just helping pay for bills or helping get a weekend away. A really highly rated charity, and so far a really good partner with us. And that's kind of the story of how we're racing for Arms Wide Open Childhood Cancer Society.
Okay, very good. And if you'll go to the OhioRAAMshow.com website, you'll see the show there. It'll be the top one. And in the show notes, there is a link to your charity. So thank you, Jennifer, there in Brooklyn. Yes. I was afraid the only people here was from Cleveland, but we got some Brooklynites, and we're glad to have them. What's your goal, Scott? You got a financial goal?
We do. This is all kind of new to us, and hearing Steve throw around numbers like 700,000 is pretty ambitious. We set an initial goal at 50,000 to raise because, to be honest, I think most of us are probably new to fundraising, and we're not people that like not hitting our goals. So I think we kind of said, let's start there and see if we can get there and then drive it northward. So right now we're looking at 50,000, hopefully a lot more than that. We're going to be asking a lot of our friends to dig deep into their pockets for sure.
Yeah, you can go to our website there and click on that and drop a dime or two on these people.
Definitely.
Earn that much, if not more.
Excellent cause.
Let's get them all back here.
Yep.
So I'm going to ask my 4 a.m. question, Jim.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's a good question.
Steve, I'll ask it of you, but anybody else can chime in. When you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you start thinking about this, what keeps you awake at night?
Oh boy, there's a multitude of things. It depends on which morning I wake up. I do wake up at 4 every morning because I'm a school bus driver and I have to get up and live here on the farm. But I have been waking up earlier than that and thinking about the starting process, that first 24 hours. Where we're going to sort of covey up to make some team exchanges. The big worry, I think, and I think we're doing the right thing by heading to West Virginia early. My experience on all the rides so far has been West Virginia has been the most difficult, the most challenging part of RAM. And we can get the team comfortable in that environment and knowing that that's the end and that's what we have to deal with. I think the rest of it's going to flow pretty nicely. But coordinating now, I think 13 different people to get out to Oceanside and get our act together and start and not get any penalties. That keeps me up a little bit at 4.
Yeah. What about heat? Are you doing any training for heat? And what's your strategy?
We have been through. In my experience, I've been through the worst of it. I think 2016 we had 140 degrees coming off the asphalt on some of our bike thermometers. 2018, I wound up keeping my light jacket on the whole way through Arizona, which was quite the contrast. So it could go either way. My experience with heat, the way we handled it, was a hotel towel and a cooler and wrapped ice in the hotel towel and put it underneath our jersey and let it evaporate and cool the core down for our 30 or 35-minute ride until we could get back into a car. That was the way the extreme heat, the way we handled it in the past. I'm not sure what the plans are for the riders this year, but I'll certainly throw that out as an option to keep cool.
Seems to be an increasing problem.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it's worse every year.
Yep. Yeah. I can only hope that we get a 2018 weather pattern this time.
That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
We got one coming.
I'll tell you, Steve. One of my experiences doing a lot of Ironman races in the South was just understanding pacing. If anything else, it's understanding pacing in those kind of conditions.
Yeah, it's a long race, and we have plenty of time. We don't have to die in 140 degrees.
Definitely. How are you guys handling your nutrition? Are you working on that already, etc.?
Yeah, definitely. Like I mean, personally, just I'm already kind of like dosing the bottles of everything that I'm going to use, and like also just throwing in random stuff, like random gas station shit is like part of my thing because it's just like, all right, this is going to be in my stomach at some point. Let's see what happens.
That's the real reason. Like you're not even at a gas station all the time, right?
Well, I mean, it's been actually a strategy of mine for a couple of years now, where I just kind of go to gas stations and eat while I ride. So it's worked well.
There you go. Do you guys do your practicing on virtual or do you do outside or a mix?
I've been doing a mix. I'll tell you, when you asked about the heat question, I was like, I don't know about the heat, but I'd be ready to ride through snow because it was like 15 degrees here in Brooklyn this morning. So I'm doing a mix, trying to do as much outside as I can, but my intervals mostly inside on the trainer.
I think Lee and I hit the same button at the same time.
I know I didn't touch a thing, Jim.
All right, Vicky's. What's your favorite gas station food?
It's hot dogs for the win.
Hostess apple pies, baby.
Oh, by the way, our vegan friends who do self-supported, I'm always asking them how they handle that, and they have one answer: Nutter butter.
Yeah, so I'm Lee. I'm one of those guys, and Miles is almost one of those guys. And I plan to have a lot of food packed early on to make sure I can get what I need. But hey, there's nothing wrong with some bad gas station food too.
Honey buns.
We'll get you some of that, guys.
Yeah. What record are you up against? What's your goal? Are you going to try to break a record? Are you going to try to finish in a certain time?
Well, we're going to finish.
Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer.
There's no question.
Yeah. Finish. We played with what, 20 miles an hour is what we want to average.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd like to be in that range. We know that's a high goal, and we know we're not going to come close to that if we try it early in the race. We're going to have to start slow and build into our race.
Mm-hmm.
And we plan to be competitive. We might be rookies, but we like to think we're a little bit smart and can plan well and do all the things we need to do with an experienced crew chief to make this thing competitive.
Yeah. Who are the climbers of the bunch, or are you all climbers?
I think
Scott's definitely a climber.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Lee?
Are there hills on this
I was
race?
going to say, go back to West Virginia. That training there is a great thing.
Yes. Everybody thinks it's over after they get done in the West, but they ain't seen nothing until they hit past Ohio.
You guys agree with me then?
Yes, definitely.
Shedding tears on West Virginia.
Yes.
Actually, real tears. And I'll tell you what, Jim handles time station 43 there in Chillicothe. And as you leave the time station, as you're actually leaving it, you'll look down the street.
Yep.
And you'll see the beginning of what's coming. It's right there and facing you head on.
In your face.
Yeah. And from then on, it's Katie bar the door. Yeah.
Yep. But you can smell the barn when you're there. You got a day to go. It's
hey, have we got all our comments in here, Jim?
I believe so. We've got a good number tonight. It was excellent. We've got a lot of people watching. Thank you guys.
It looks like I don't see any there that we've missed.
There looks like. I'm curious,
And
Lee or Jim,
still
there's a
got a
question
few
there about
seconds
vaping.
left.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the chafing question? I'll bring
what
that
do
one
you guys
back up.
That sounds like a guy wants to be on the crew. Sounds real interested in this.
Yeah,
Where'd it go?
it's probably a good time too to thank all of our crew here. It's nice to have friends and family that want to support and whose promises are kept and you can depend on. It's really, really appreciative and kind of gets you in the cockles of your heart knowing that you can depend on some people.
There you go.
Make promises and keeping promises. It's really
There you
important.
go. Yeah, that was the James Sanders question. What about shaping over the week?
Good
How are you guys
question.
handling that?
Dry shorts and
There you go. Exactly.
Sometimes two pair of shorts. Keeping after that's a real good idea. If it goes bad early, it can go bad for the whole race. So
Yeah.
you want to keep ahead of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
I think,
done a number of
Joe's-
multi-day cycling events where the things that Steve's describing were lifesavers, and any and all techniques from Aquaphor to Gold Bond.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And, one of my things is I would wear different brands of shorts. I would have a Umis. I'd have just various. I'd have a Nike pair, and switching would give me different wear marks. That just the pad would come out to different areas, and oftentimes that was the problem. So bringing various brands, not all the same shorts, is a good idea, I think.
Definitely. As far as the
donate page
go ahead. Go ahead, Lee.
Let's answer that question
Yep.
for James. If you'll just go to OhioRAAMshow.com, and this show will be on the top of the list there. Go down to the show notes, and you'll see a link to their donates.
And I want to get to, obviously, we're going to ask everyone, there's a lot of deep-pocketed companies out there. We want to remind everyone to ask for a corporate match from their companies if possible.
Oh, definitely. And Dusty has a question. What's your strategy on link to pull? She said she might have missed it.
We're looking at roughly 30-minute pulls for the two-person team, adjusted for terrain, of course. If it's super hot, maybe shorter. Big climbs, maybe shorter.
Outstanding. Do you guys have any sponsors you want to shout out to?
That's what I was going to jump in on. Behind all the team, you see Air Relax gave us some recovery boots. Team Bora helped us with our kits. They provided each of us our own set of racing kits, and as you see, shirts. Doylestown Bike Works in Doylestown is going to hook us up with some spare parts and gear, and then Win Sports Detergent, keeping our stuff from being as stinky as it might normally be. So thanks to our sponsors. We're looking forward for more.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, very good.
Outstanding.
Well, I think Dusty got on my case about something this week, Jim, and we're going to have to discuss it. Yeah.
Okay.
But, she had some good ideas. She called me on the phone. It was a wonderful phone call. Dusty, thank you so much. Well, do you think we've got everybody in here that wants to get in?
I think we can give them till I get it ready, and then the time is up for the drawing. You know.
Yeah. You've had your chance, so
definitely.
Here we go.
Go ahead and get it set up.
So my question for the all you veterans out there: I've been told that it's a challenge to stay awake once the race ends. Is that true, Steve?
That's very fair. Actually, it's the thing that happens almost every time to me at the end of RAM is the first night I'm in a hotel and I don't have to wake up. I wake up in a panic because I think I think I've slept through a time change or a shift change that I'm supposed to be riding or I'm supposed to be managing something, and it's a nightmare. It happens every RAM the first night or two. You think you're going to sleep like a baby, you won't that first night.
That's why I plan to throw them back for at least 4 hours after we cross the finish line.
Well,
yeah, I hear a lot of people have trouble getting to sleep afterwards.
We'll do some recovery loops afterwards, I guess.
Yeah. Are you getting ready, Jim?
Yep. There we go. All right.
Okay.
That's not what I wanted. Hang on.
That's not right.
That's not right.
See, get that guy out of there.
There you go. Gotta do the right thing here.
Jim.
Sorry, Lee.
Jim has such a complicated setup. When I have to do it, I only got one screen over here, so
it's all that racing I'm covering.
Yeah. I'm the one that had the tough week.
I'm getting there, guys. Sorry, giving people more chance to join in to the giveaway.
Do you guys see how many viewers we have?
We're right now still holding at 23. The highest been like 26. You guys got the record.
Hey, all right.
Outstanding.
Thanks for watching.
Sounds about right.
Actually, over 90% of our viewers actually watch the recorded version.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
the question for watching the recorded version
about times, and we'll talk about that more another time. Go, Jim.
All right, we're clicking it right now. Let's see who's going to be the wonderful winner tonight.
Ooh. You think you've won, and then all of a sudden you haven't.
Amber! Well, we know your information, but I'll go ahead and post this or share this anyway. Send your info to winner at OhioRAAMshow.live.
I think they've got it weighted. Haven't they won recently before?
I think Doug did, yes.
Well, it was Doug. Okay. Well, we'll
so
give
it's
it to Amber then.
yes.
Thank you,
definitely.
Amber. Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Great show tonight, guys. We really appreciate you, and we will be cheering you on as you come through our Ohio time stations.
Thank everybody for watching. Thank you guys for being with us. And next week, we're going to have Team Skydog. We keep talking about them. You're going to see them for real next week in, not in the virtual world. And Greg Zuber, the voice of the OhioRAAM show. Let's go.
This is Gregory Zuber, thanking you for watching and sharing.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.